Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Shrinvatam Swagata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. It's reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Text 11 and 12. Kvaham tamo mahadaham kacharagnivarbu samveshtitandagata saptavitastikayah Kvedrik vidha viganitanda paranucharya. 10, 14, 11.
10, 14, 11.
Kvedrik vidha viganitanda paranucharya vatadvaroma vivarasya chate mahitvam. Kvaham tamo mahadaham kacharagnivarbu Samveshtitandagada saptavitastikayah Vedrigvidha viganitanda paranucharya Vatadvaroma vivarasya chate mahitvam Kvaham tamo mahadaham kacharagnivarbu Samveshtitandagada saptavitastikayah Vedrigvidha viganitanda paranucharya Vatadvaroma vivarasya chate mahitva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. What am I? A small creature measuring 7 spans of my own hand. I am enclosed in a pot-like universe composed of material nature. The total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water and earth. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the pores of your body just as the particles of dust pass through the opening of a screened window. Purport. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 5, text 72, Srila Prabhupada gives the following purport for this verse. When Lord Brahma, after having stolen all Krishna's cows and cowherd boys, returned and saw that the cows and the boys were still roaming with Krishna, he offered this prayer in his defeat. A conditioned soul, even one so great as Brahma, who manages the affairs of the entire universe, cannot compare to the personality of Godhead, for he can produce numberless universes simply by the spiritual rays emanating from the pores of his body. Material scientists should take lessons from the utterances of Sri Brahma regarding our insignificance in comparison with God. In these prayers of Brahma, there is much to learn for those who are falsely puffed up by the accumulation of power. In Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Volume 1, Chapter 14, Srila Prabhupada further comments on this verse. Lord Brahma realized his actual position. He is certainly the supreme teacher of this universe, in charge of the production of the material nature, which consists of the complete material elements, false ego, sky, air, fire, water and earth. Such a universe may be gigantic, but it can be measured just as we measure our body as 7 spans. Generally, everyone's personal bodily measurement is calculated to be 7 spans of his hand. This particular universe may appear to be very gigantic body, but it is nothing but the measurement of 7 spans of Lord Brahma. Aside from this universe, there are unlimited other universes outside the jurisdiction of this particular Lord Brahma, just as innumerable atomic infinitesimal fragmental parts pass through the holes of a screened window, so millions and trillions of universes in their seedling form are coming out from the bodily pores of Mahavishnu, and that Mahavishnu is but a part of plenary expansion of Krishna. Under these circumstances, although Lord Brahma is supreme creature within this universe, What is his importance in the presence of Lord Krishna? Text 12. Ukshepanam garbhagatasya padayoh kim kalpate maturadoksha jagase kim masti nasti vyapadesha bhushitam tavasti kukshe kiyadapyanantah. Ukshepanam garbhagatasya padayoh kim kalpate maturadoksha jagase kim masti nasti vyapadesha bhushitam tavasti kukshe kiyadapyanantah. Utkshepanam garbhagatasya padayoh kim kalpate maturadoksha jagase kim masti nasti vyapadesha bhushitam tavasti kukshe kiyadapyanantah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O Lord Adokshaja, does the mother take offense when the child within her womb kicks his legs? And is there anything in existence, whether designated by various philosophers as real or unreal, that is actually outside your abdomen? Purport. Srila Prabhupada comments as follows on this verse in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Volume 1, Chapter 14. Lord Brahma, therefore, compared himself to a little child within the womb of his mother. If the child within the womb plays with his hands and legs, and while playing touches the body of the mother, is the mother offended with this child? Of course, she is not. Similarly, Lord Brahma may be very great personality, and yet only Brahma, yet not only Brahma, but everything that exists is within the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's energy is all pervading. There is no place in creation where it is not acting. Everything is existing within the energy of the Lord. So the Brahma of this universe, or the Brahmas of many other millions and trillions of universes, are existing within the energy of the Lord. Therefore, the Lord is considered to be the mother, and everything existing within the womb of the mother is considered to be the child. And the good mother is never offended with the child, even if he touches the body of the mother by kicking his legs. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshdharane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare योऽन्तः प्रविश्यमवाचं विं प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत् अखिलशक्तिधर सुधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. So we are in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, texts 11 and 12 today. Right? So this comes in the broader discussion of the prayers by Lord Brahma. So we all know what happened with Lord Brahma, right? Brahma did Brahma Vimohan Leela. So Brahma took the calves and all the cowherd boys and then hid them in a cave. And he thought he would test Krishna's power, basically. But then he realized quickly that it's none other than Krishna, who is his worshipable Lord, who is sitting in front of him, standing in front of him in the form of a childhood boy. And then he decided that the only way to amend is to go offer prayers and respects to the Supreme Lord. So he comes and offers this set of prayers, and this entire chapter is the prayers of Lord Brahma. So it's very interesting. So Brahma, after he played with the calves and the cowherd boys, he comes and says, Naumidyate brava pusheta didambaraya gunjavatamsha pariprichala sanmukaya Vanyasraje kavalavetra vishana venu Lakshma sriye mridupade pashupangajaya. So this is Krishna who is standing in front of him as a cowherd boy. And Krishna, it's mentioned in this verse that he is wearing this gunja mala of forest flowers. He's wearing these garlands. And then he's having a stick in his hand. And he's having in another hand, he's having curd rice, a ball of curd rice. And this is the form of the Lord which Brahma is seeing. And there he's continuing to say like what all offenses he has made by doing this Brahma Vimohana Leela. He says, Kwaham tamo mahadaham kacharagni vabhur. There is nothing in this world besides Krishna. So these were two verses which we saw today is explaining the greatness or the Aishwarya Bhava of the Supreme Lord. Right? So Krishna is so great and we are so tiny, right? That is known. We see this in the Bhagavad Gita, but Brahma, who is the topmost creature in this material world, is saying this. He's saying this, I am the creator of this universe, but I'm so tiny. What am I? I'm a small creature measuring 7 spans of my hand. So this is interesting, right? Brahma says, I'm nothing but just these 7 spans of my hand. So if you take our hands and then measure ourselves, we typically measure about 7 spans of our hand. So Brahma is saying, I'm only that. And everything else in this material world, the total energy, the false ego, ether, air, water, earth, all of these are yours, Krishna. What am I? I'm nothing. And millions of these universes come out of your pores of your body. Right? So that's what Brahma is coming to this of realization, saying that I made this grievous mistake of thinking you to be a common cowherd boy and having played with you in this Brahma Vimohan Leela. So it's interesting, right? We might think Brahma has actually come down from his position. He's not that exalted or something, but that's not the crux of this message. Brahma is the topmost living entity and he's a very dear devotee of the Supreme Lord. But he's actually playing the part as a part of this, in the part of the Leela. So he's playing a part as a part. He's showing how even one so advanced in the level of Brahma can be deluded. That's the power of this material creation, right? So that's what Brahma is trying to explain to us. So here, the 7 spans of our own hand, right? This is interesting. And there is a verse from the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, where the demigods are praying to the womb, where Krishna is in the womb of Devaki, and they are praying. And they are saying, what is this body? So they are giving numbers to the different aspects of the body. So we will see what that verse is, right? Ekanyasau difalastrimula chatorasa panchavidah shadhatma shabdatvat ashtavitapo navaksho dasaschadi dvikagohi adi vrikshaha. So the demigods are saying this body is like adi vriksha. This is like one tree. And this tree has dvifala. It has 2 fruits. First fruit is happiness or enjoyment, and second fruit is suffering or distress. And then there are 3 roots to this tree, 3 mula. 3 roots are sattva, rajas and tamas, the 3 modes of the material creation. Those are the 3 roots. And then chato rasaha. There are 4 rasa or enjoyment this particular body goes through, which is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That is the 4. And then there are panchavida. Panchavida this explains these 5 rasas in 5 forms, which is pancha indriya, shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. We have ears, eyes, nose, touch, and then sense of smell, right? All these different things are like panchavida. And shad atma. And it says there are 6 kinds of degradation which this body goes through, which is lamentation, illusion, and then death, old age, and then thirst and hunger. So these are 6 shadatma. And then there is saptattvak. There are 7 kinds of coverings to this body. It says in the Ayurveda, it says there are 7 coverings to this body, which are rasa, rakta, mamsa, meda, majja, asti, shukra, and artava. So these are 7 layers of the body, and those 7 layers are part of this body. So it's giving all these different explanations to these different aspects of the body. And then there's ashtavitapa. Ashtavitapa is like 8 kinds of elements, which is bhumi, rapo, analo, vayu, kam, manor, buddhi, revacha, ahankaram, iti, yamme, binna, prakriti, ashtada. Those are the 8 elements. And then navaksha, this body has 9 holes. And we know this body is a city of 9 gates. In Puranjana we have seen there are 9 holes through which the soul is able to see this creation, right? And then there is 10, which is 10 kinds of life air. There is prana, apana, udana, vyana, samana. And then there are 5 small variations of these, which are called naga. And then there is there are 5 more. There are totally 10 life airs, and those are the 10 dashastadi. And with all these 10 things in the body, there is one more thing in the body, which is the dvikaga. There are 2 birds, which is one is a soul and the other is a super soul. Dvikaga I adivrikshaha. So that is how this body is structured. And this is the demigods praying to the Supreme Lord, saying that this is the body, and with this body we should actually worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And here Brahma, being the topmost living entity in this world, is saying that I am nothing in this world, I am just the 7 spans of my own hand, right? That's what his realization is. So we hear in the Shikshashtakam like Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorevi Savishvana Amani Namani Dena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. So we have to be humble than the blade of grass. We have to be tolerant than the the bark of a tree. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs us. But here, Brahma is actually exemplifying it in his own life. Like he has made this mistake. So he's saying that I'm nothing compared to you, Krishna. So you are such great in this world. Your greatness is so exemplified that I'm not able to even think about it. So I made this grievous mistake. So please forgive me. So that's Brahma's prayers here. Right? So this it's very interesting if you think about the message of this particular purports which we saw is exactly in tune with various shastras. Like for example, if you take Krishna Yajurveda, so there is a section called Taittiriya Aranyaka where there is a portion called Narayana Suktam, and in Narayana Sukta this entire thing is exactly described. And you will see, I'll say, draw references from Dhruva Maharaja's prayers and everything, where his exact reference what Brahma is making is exactly there, right? The Narayana Sukta, it said, Patim Vishwasyatmeshwaragum Sashvatakum Shivamachyutam Narayanam Mahagneyam Vishwatmanam Parayanam Narayanam Param Jyotir Atma Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Brahma Tattvam Narayana Paraha Narayana Param Dhyata Dhyanam Narayana Paraha Yascha Kinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Eshruyate Piva Antar Bahishcha Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Stitaha. So says Patim Vishvesharagam Atmeshwaragam. Says this Narayana is the heart of this entire universe. He says Narayana is the supreme light, Param Jyotir, Atma Narayana Paraha. Narayana is the soul of this entire universe. Narayana is the Param Tattva and the Param Brahma. Narayana is the person to be meditated upon and is the supreme truth. And it says, Yatta Kinchit Jagat Sarvam Drishyate Sruyate Piva. If you go and see and hear, whatever you see in this world is all Narayana. Antar Bahishya Tatsarvam Vyapya Narayana Stitihi. Narayana is not just in the outside world, but is also inside. Right? So this is the message of the Vedas. And then you see in Kunti Maharani's prayers, she says, Namasye Purusham Twadhyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravastitam. Says, Namasye Purusham Twadhyam. Krishna is the Adi Purusha. Adhyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param. Krishna is beyond the three modes of the material nature. And she says, what does she say? Alaksham Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravastitam. Krishna is present within, Antar Bahi. Antar is within, Bahi is outside. Krishna is present both within and outside. So this is the realization of the topmost devotee of the Supreme Lord, right? Kunti Maharani is like his aunt, and she is able to see Krishna in the form and still understand that Krishna is the Adi Purusha. So there are parallels here, right? The other parallel I want to draw is from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What does Krishna say? Krishna says, Avajananti Mamuda Manushim Tanumashritam Param Bhavam Ajananta Mamabhuta Maheshwaram. So he says, Krishna says that Avajananti Mamuda. So those people who are rascals, they are not able to understand me because I have taken this form of human form. But Param Bhavam Ajananta, I am the topmost. Mamabhuta Maheshwaram. There is nothing beyond me. I am the topmost controller of this world, right? So Krishna says this, and people typically cannot understand this because they think Krishna is in a human form. And then Krishna in the next verse, he says, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashritaha. The Mahatmas are the persons who have taken shelter of the Daivi Prakriti, which is not the Maya, but the Yoga Maya potency. And because of that, Namasyantasya Mam Bhakta Nitya Yukta Upasate. They are able to continuously Bhajanti Ananya Manasa Nyatva Bhutadim Avyam. They know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and they are able to understand that there is nothing besides him and continuously be able to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the quality of the Mahatma, right? So here we saw all these Aishwarya Bhava of the Supreme Lord and how Krishna is the topmost person in this material creation. And this has been ratified by Brahma, who is the topmost living entity, right? So that's the crux of this particular purport, which is the purport 1. And then we can discuss a lot about the purport 2, where it says Ukshepanam Garbha Gatasya Padayoho Kim Kalpate Matur Adoksha Jagase Kim Asti Nasti Vyapadesha Bhushitam Tavasti Kukshe Kiyadapyanantaha. So it says the word Adokshaja. So does anybody know what the meaning of the word Adokshaja mean? Correct. And if you split, Sanskrit is a beautiful language. So what happens is you can actually split Sanskrit and the words, they dissolve and the meaning becomes more prominent, right? Other is below. Aksha is eyes. Ja is like anything which is created from the eyes, which is visible to the eyes is Akshaja. So anything which is beyond our eyes, which we can see, is called Adokshaja. So Krishna is beyond our eyes. So that's why he's called Adokshaja here. And there are multiple other meanings for this. Another meaning is Aksha is the word. Sanskrit is called Akshara, right? Akshara is all the words. So you can describe this world with words. But Krishna is beyond description of words. So he's called Adokshaja. So he's calling Krishna as Adokshaja, which means there's nothing you can do. When we see this prayers by Gajendra, he says, Namo Giram Viduraya, Namo Giram Viduraya. So Krishna is beyond the words. So we cannot explain Krishna by words. So that's what here Brahma is saying, that he is Adokshaja. And he says, Ukshepanam Garbha Gatasya Padayoho. The explanation or the analogy which Brahma is giving here is like, I made this mistake, but just like how a child in the mother's womb, if the child kicks the mother does not take offense. The mother actually relishes it. So Brahma is saying, like that, I have made this mistake. So please, you are the mother, you are the father, you are the person who is protecting everybody. So please, give your merciful glances upon me because I made this mistake. So this is Brahma's mood of repentance, and he's saying that just like how a child helplessly, if it kicks inside the mother's womb, the mother doesn't take offense, just like that, please Krishna, please don't take offense from the offense I've created, is what Brahma is praying. So this exact same verse comes in the Dhruva Charitra, Dhruva prayers. And Dhruva, he says, Kalpanta etata kilam jadarena krishnan shete puman swadrikananta sakastadanke yenna bisunduruha kanchana loka padma garbhedyuman bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Says Kalpanta etata kilam jadarena krishnan. So what does Krishna do? At the end of all the millennium, he just draws this entire creation into his belly. Kalpanta ete dakilam jatarena krishnan shete puman swadrik ananta sakastadanke. But still he is laying at the causal ocean at the bed of Ananta Sesha and is like resting, and then it's as if like he's not doing anything, but every creation is just going back into his entire belly. And then he says jatarena krishnan shete puman swadrik ananta sakastadanke yen nabi sinduruha kanchana loka padma. This entire world or the creation again comes back from his lotus navel. And in Nabi Sinduruha Kanchana Lokapadma Garbhedyuman Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. I know that Krishna, you are the same person who is standing in front of me, so I am worshipping you. That's what Dhruva is saying. And the last verse of Dhruva's prayers is Satya Sisho hi Bhagavan Stava Pada Padma Ashistatanu Bhajatah Purushartha Murtehe Appyeva Marya Bhagavan Paripati Dinan Vashreva Vatsakam Anugraha Katarasman. Satyashisho hi Bhagavan Stava Pada Padma. The highest benediction one can have in this world is to actually worship your lotus feet, Krishna. And then Pada Padma Dhyanat Bhavat Asish Tatanu Bhajata Purushartha Murtehe. So you are the Purushartha Murtehe. There are 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But all these, you are the embodiment of all these things. But that the real benediction is to actually go and worship your lotus feet. Purushartha Murtehe. Appyeva Marya Bhagavan Paripati Dinan Vasreva Vatsakam Anugraha Katarasman. Just like how a cow takes care of the calf, it gives protection, it gives nourishment. Just like that, Krishna, I am so depressed, I am so distressed. You are the only refuge. So please take me out of this material world, is what Dhruva is praying. Just like how a calf is protected by the cow, just like that you protect me, Krishna, is what he's praying. So that's the same prayer which Brahma is praying here. Is saying that just like how a child in the mother's womb is kicking, it's not so painful. Just like that, Krishna, please take me as your child and please forgive my offenses, is the prayer which Brahma is making here. So the crux of the message from these two verses is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his expansion of the expansion is Mahavishnu, and that Mahavishnu is so great that from the pores of his body, millions and trillions of universes are coming out from his pores of his body. If the expansion of Krishna, which Mahavishnu, is so great, and Brahma is so insignificant even compared to Mahavishnu, then we should be able to understand how great Krishna is, and with that bhava we should be able to render our devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And Brahma himself says in the fourth verse of his prayers, he says, Jnane prayasa mudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane stita srutigatan tanuvan manopir Yat prayase jita ajita apyasitais trilokyam. He says, Jnane prayasa udapasya namanta eva. We should all give up this tendency to gain knowledge, to gain respect, unnecessary pride and all those things, and udapasya namanta eva, and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and jivanti san mukaritam bhavadiya vartam, and take to the shelter of the devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and listen to their words, and whatever they speak, take it to your heart, and the sthane sthita stuti ganan dhanuvan manopi. Then wherever you are situated, take that place and then do whatever the instructions are with your mind, heart and words. Sthane sthitan stuti ganan dhanuvan manobir yaprayase ajita jita apyasitais trilokyam. If you do that, then Krishna is called Ajita. Nobody can win over Krishna, but a person who lives his life this way by following the footsteps of the acharyas and worshipping their instructions, that person will be able to win over Krishna. So that's the message which Brahma gives in the fourth prayer in this particular chapter. Right. So this is a glorious section in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it reminded me of one verse from Purandaradasa. It says, Anoraniyana Mahato Mahiyana Anoraniyana Mahato Mahiyana Aprameyana Adishidale Shoda Jagadodharana Adishidale Shode. Says Krishna is Jagat Udharana. Krishna is the one who protects this entire world. Jagat Udharana. And it says Anoraniya. Krishna becomes the smallest of the smallest, and Mahato Mahiya is the greatest of the greatest. So Aprameya, there is nothing beyond Krishna. So that's the beautiful prayer with which we can all understand how great Krishna is, and we can ruminate on this particular two verses which Brahma says, like Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is explaining all the glories in very explicable detail. So it's up to us to read these verses and understand the verses which Brahma is praying, and try to take it to our heart and improve our consciousness by placing our by understanding this greatness of Krishna and understanding how insignificant we are, and trying to incorporate this into our daily life. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to purify myself. Hare Krishna. Yes, bro.
Do you think there is a very good Vedas also? Like Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam, one sloka is there, and another is Brahma's prayers is there. And even that and other things like everything but Vishnu come from the Krishna, those verses are something you have anything like that. Except these verses, Brahma Samhita and Krishna sloka. Except these and other.
Hare Krishna. So the question is, except Brahma Samhita and the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where it says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Ekecham Sakalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, is there any other reference which says Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is the question from Damodar Prabhu. So Prabhu, one thing with the Vedas is Vedas, they don't explicitly say Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary of the Vedas. So, Yaswanubhavam Akila Shruti Saramekam Adhyatma Devam Atititirshritam Tamondam Samsarinam Karunayaha Purana Gukyam Tvam Vyasa Sonam Upayami Guru Muninam. So, Vyasa's son Shukadev Goswami, who gave this Veda, this Bhagavatam, is actually a commentary of all the Vedas. So Vedas, it's very difficult to understand with each and every aspect of it, and it is catering to a lot of people, right? It's catering to people who are karma kandis, who are catering to people who want to understand the Supreme Lord in impersonal form. It's catering to a lot of people, but it doesn't specifically say Krishna is the Supreme Person.
Talking about Paratsavada Vedayam Balana Manshasana.
Correct. Correct.
If you know the
Correct. So, but the crux is Krishna Bhagavan Swayam. Yeah. Hare Krishna.